Hello, my friends, and happy Tuesday. So we are here to do our little daily check-in. We're going to start with our up-downs. We always sit down and stand up for 30 seconds every single day. So sit down and stand up and sit down and stand up. Went to a little swim meet tonight. It was nice in the sun and cold in the shade, which is springtime in Concord. Though I think we're in summer, aren't we? I think we are. You're sitting and standing and sitting and standing while I'm just shooting the breeze so you can be distracted. Sit down and stand up, line up your feet, feel your joints moving, strengthen your quadriceps, all the things. So keep going. You got 3 seconds, 2 and 1. And now we balance on each foot for 15 seconds. So stand on one foot, stand there straight and tall, shoulders, ears lined up with shoulders, with hips, with feet. And we just spend 1 minute doing just the smallest things that make a huge difference. Now balance on the other foot. And if you want to challenge it, if your balance is pretty good, then you can close your eyes or you can swing your arms around or swing your legs around to challenge your balance, because it gets better when you challenge it. And this way we are less likely to fall because we have strong quadriceps and we have practiced balance. And you're done. And now we'll breathe so we can be fully present for our morning check-in, or you can do it at night, or you can do it whenever you want. So let's inhale and exhale. Feel that air go into your lungs. And then exhale. It's really good to be present. Just take a moment, and that relaxes your sympathetic nervous system and helps you to be fully present without thinking about anything else than just what you're doing right now. So let's reflect on yesterday. Think about how you did Sugar-Free Monday. How did it go? Review your habits. Think about what you learned, what went well, what did not, and we'll take that knowledge into the future. And then we let go of whatever happened yesterday, but we learn from it first, right? And you write down 3 good things. You practice gratitude, writing 3 good things that happened on Monday, and you review your habits to see how you did with that as well. So do all that stuff. And then we call these the reps: the reflect, engage, and plan, and then have a little spiritual moment. So next is engage, and this means engage with your best self, the best that is in you. And you do that by going to the mental gym. You think about how you want to think. You write down things that speak to you, that help you to feel like, this is who I am. For example, I always put a few. The ones that we have right now are, I'm fit and healthy. We all want to be thinking that. My life is full of joy and love. And the life I want is on the other side of what I may not want to do. I will do it anyway. So we start to think in ways that help support our habits, our best life that we're living every day. That is our goal. Just live our best life every single day. We're not going to be perfect, but it's going to be better if we have a plan in place. So look at your streak page. What are you focusing on there? And your vision board. You have a vision board. What is your best life? What does that look like? Just inspire you to be your best. And then I have a quote. I have a couple today. They're so good. This is by Dr. Stan Beecham. He said, people who don't make promises make excuses. Get really good at making and keeping your promises so you won't have to make excuses. Isn't that good advice? And then Hal Elrod said this: remember, the moment you accept total responsibility for everything in your life is the moment you claim the power to change anything in your life. I love that, because when we take back that power, right? Accept total responsibility for everything that happens in your life that you have power over, right? We can't change things outside of our control, but when we take responsibility for what we can change, like how we think about things and how we respond to things, the whole world opens up. I love this idea of making promises and then keeping promises, and we talk a lot about that. Be sure that you're setting your goals and your habits and all of it in a way that is doable, but a little bit of a stretch. And then keep that promise. That's the most important part, because if we get in the habit of not doing what we say we're going to do, then, that becomes a habit like everything else, right? So what are the things that you intend to do, and then follow through, and then learn from experience? So let us then plan for today, Tuesday. What will you do with this day? What needs your attention? And remember, we prioritize our health. So that means, what am I going to eat? Think about it ahead of time, because if you plan ahead of time, you're much more likely to do healthy things. The farther away from eating the plan is, the more healthy the plan becomes in a cold state, right? This check-in needs to be kind of cold, calm, peaceful. So setting aside that time every single morning is really a key to having a successful day, an successful life. So what are you going to eat? How will you move today? What is your plan? And how will you prioritize sleep? What is your plan for that? And remember, we have the floor ceiling goals, right, for that success zone. So give that some thought. This is probably the most important thing that we do every day, is to think about the day ahead, because that's what we have control over. All right, so you got that plan in place. And this month, June, we have been talking about not complaining. I'm really identifying a lot of that in my world. And it's obviously easier to see it in other people than it is to see in ourselves. Am I right? But it's all instructive. All helps us to be our best. All right. So once you've got your plan in place, let's go to the scriptures, because we always want to think about that spiritual side of us. And then we all have different beliefs. Usually the scriptures will speak to all of us. I think that's true for all of us, because it's just kind of baseline goodness. Here is, I'm in Joshua chapter 23 in the Old Testament, verse 6. Be ye therefore very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses. So for these people, it was the law of Moses. And I know many of you still hold to that ye turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left. I love that the commandments give us those boundaries, give us that a way to identify what is truth, what is not, what is right, what is wrong. Just that moral code is really, I think, more important now than ever, right? Like, love your neighbor as yourself, and be kind, and love people, and love God, all those things. Strictly heed to them. So read your scriptures, say your prayers, make it a priority, because that helps you remember why we're doing all this work, because life is important. And then we read from a book. This quarter, we've been reading the Atomic Habits book. Now, this is set up so that you can stop whenever you get what you want from the recording. So if you don't have time to do the scripture or to do the book, that's perfectly fine. In fact, this is just for you to take whatever works for you and leave whatever doesn't. I just make suggestions from my study and my experience, and then you take it and run and make your most amazing, fabulous life. So we are in Atomic Habits. We are on page 241. He has this interesting little diagram. I know many of you have the book, many of you don't. But he talks about as we've practiced habits, they become automatic. There's automaticity. The more we repeat them, the more we keep doing them. But then he also says, as we talked about yesterday in our reading, that we want to keep building to master those habits. And so we keep building on the habits that we have, which is so exciting, because we just keep growing and changing all through our lives. So these figures he explains as: the process of mastery requires that you progressively layer improvements on top of one another, each habit building upon the last until a new level of performance has been reached and a higher range of skills has been internalized. See, we just never stop growing and learning. It's so exciting. Continuing with his, that was just a reference to those little diagrams. So continuing, although habits are powerful, what you need is a way to remain conscious of your performance over time, so you can continue to refine and improve. It is precisely at the moment when you begin to feel like you have mastered a skill, right when things are starting to feel automatic and you are becoming comfortable, that you must avoid slipping into the trap of complacency. Dun, dun, dun. The solution? I love it when I read this. Establish a system for reflection and review, which is what we do every single day. Here's his further example. How to review your habits and make adjustments. In 1986, the Los Angeles Lakers had one of the most talented basketball teams ever assembled, but they are rarely remembered that way. The team started the 1985-1986 NBA season with an astounding 29-5 record. The pundits were saying that we might be the best team in the history of basketball, head coach Pat Riley said after the season. Surprisingly, the Lakers stumbled in the 1986 playoffs and suffered a season-ending defeat in the Western Conference Finals. The best team in the history of basketball didn't even play for the NBA championship. After that blow, Riley was tired of hearing about how much talent his players had and about how much promise his team held. He didn't want to see flashes of brilliance followed by a gradual fade in performance. Think about that, you guys. Maybe basketball isn't your thing, but that is a true thing. He didn't want to see flashes of brilliance followed by a gradual fade in performance. He wanted the Lakers to play up to their potential night after night. In the summer of 1986, he created a plan to do exactly that, a system that he called the Career Best Effort Program, or CBE. When players first joined the Lakers, Riley explained, we track their basketball statistics all the way back to high school. I call this taking their number. We look for an accurate gauge of what a player can do, then build him into our plan for the team, based on the notion that he will maintain and then improve upon his averages. After determining a player's baseline level of performance, Riley added a key step. He asked each player to improve their output by at least 1% over the course of the season. If they succeeded, it would be a CBE, or a career best effort. Similar to the British cycling team that we discussed in Chapter 1, the Lakers sought peak performance by getting slightly better each day. Riley was careful to point out that the CBE was not merely about points or statistics, but about giving your best effort spiritually and mentally and physically. Players got credit for allowing an opponent to run into you when you know that a foul will be called against him, diving for loose balls, going after rebounds, whether you are likely to get them or not, helping a teammate when the player he's guarding has surged past him, and other unsung hero deeds. As an example, let's say that Magic Johnson, the Lakers' star player at the time, had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, and 5 turnovers in a game. Magic also got credit for an unsung hero deed by diving after a loose ball, +1. Finally, he played a total of 33 minutes in this imaginary game. The positive numbers, 11 plus 8 plus 12 plus 2 plus 1, add up to 34. Then we subtract the 5 turnovers to get 29. Finally, we divide 29 by 33 minutes played. It seems like quite a little system, doesn't it? I'm not sure it's very important that we understand all that. But Magic's CBE number here would be 879. This number is calculated for all the players' games, and it was the average CBE that a player was asked to improve by 1% over the season. Riley compared each player's current CBE to not only their past performance, but also those of other players in the league. As Riley put it, we rank team members alongside league opponents who play the same position and have similar role definitions. I'm kind of getting lost in this, you guys. How about you? I think I might jump ahead. But you get the idea that we can monitor our behavior and see, are we getting better? Are we improving? Are we slumping back into old habits? So I think that's a great thing to do, don't you? And we do it every day. So maybe the Lakers have a complicated system, but we just kind of look at our habits and see, how am I doing? And each week when we transfer them over, we get a chance to review them and think about what we want to do next. So we're on the right track. All right, my friends, I love you. Have a fabulous Tuesday. Do your best work as usual. Be amazing, and I will see you tomorrow.